Welcome to What Off Season. You already know what time it is. Welcome back into the What Off Season Sports Podcast, everybody. On today's show, we throw you our full Major League Baseball predictions for the upcoming shortened season. Who's going to make it? Who's not? Who's going to shock you in my predictions? It's coming up next. And also, we're going to dig into the Redskins name change, a little bit of background on that, educate ourselves a little bit, and then just really take a look at what's actually going down with this franchise. But as always, guys, catch us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, everywhere your podcasts are found at. Right now, as you're listening to the show, you can check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you hit the bio, that's going to be our link tree. Every single bit of what off-season content is going to be in that link tree for you guys. Every podcast, every social media post, anything, click it and you can find it there. Welcoming in a brand new special guest to the What Off Season Sports Podcast, Joe Morley, host of the Joe Morley Sports Show. You can find him everywhere. Initially, though, Joe, finally great to have you on, man. Tell me a little bit about yourself today.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me on. A little bit of background of myself. I'm relatively new to the sports podcasting community.
You're killing it, though, man. It don't seem like you're new. You're killing it, dude.
What a great community to be a part of. I'll tell you that. A lot of great connections in it, and you met some of these guys,
mm-hmm.
and you're part of it too. But my background is, I grew up in a house full of mainly girls.
Okay.
My dad worked all the time, so when my dad, I really didn't get to watch sports with anybody but myself.
Okay.
So I've always kept these opinions inside my head.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got really sick. And so it kind of motivated me like, hey, this is the time to do it now.
Right.
When I got healthy enough to actually start talking, I actually used myself to I guess rehab my own lungs.
Right.
To get myself talking again. It's been a lot of fun and just something that I've always talked, and now I finally have people that want to listen to it.
Yeah, dude, you have a great following too. You remember the season shout out I gave you. You were at like a little over 1,100 followers. And I'm looking at your page now and you're pushing up on 2K, man. So like within about a month, you've almost gained another 1,000. How does that make you feel to almost double your following in a month? I don't know if you've seen that, man. I'd be watching y'all. Y'all are on up there and I'm trying to get on y'all's level. But how does that feel to have that following?
It's unbelievable. I remember when I first started, and it's funny because I was like, I post a lot and I post a lot of content, and this. I try to switch it up between sports so everybody has can come at it. I never wanted to have more posts and followers, and at one point I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be there. I can't outpost my followers." Right. And it's just like boom, it just grew. Like it's unbelievable to see the love and support that I've been getting. And I mean, the follower number isn't the main thing I look at. My thing is the interaction. I love the interaction with the people. I love when I can sign on and there's a question waiting for me. That's what I'm waiting for. That's what drives me to keep going.
Anybody who's listening to Joe right now, you can go find him on joemorleysports.com. That's literally everything he's got. Joe, are you ready to dive into these Major League Baseball postseason predictions, man? I got some wild ones in here.
Yeah, hey, I'm ready.
We're going to be completely digging into the upcoming 60-game season for Major League Baseball, not going MVPs or Cy Youngs, anything like that, just looking at records, looking at division winners, and we're going to take it level by level through the playoffs. So I'm going to start here with the National League. Like I said, at the top with our division winners, let's look at the National League East. A lot of people are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, especially with the jersey I'm wearing, but I don't have the Braves winning this division. I do have the World Series champions, Washington Nationals, taking this division, and I'm going to tell you why. The Braves, in my opinion, as the fan and just as the podcaster I am looking into this team, I virtually feel like they did nothing for the bullpen this year. Felix Hernandez is sitting out. Cole Hamels is on the pretty far back nine of his career. He could emerge. He has that veteran presence, but, short of Mike Soroka and Max Fried, you almost want to say, who do the Braves have in the bullpen? And they're cheap as always. Going through every offseason, like I said, they got Cole Hamels, but that's not the Cole Hamels of 7-8 years ago when he was next to Roy Halladay and Cliff Lee in Philadelphia and was a top 5 pitcher in the major leagues. This is the Cole Hamels of 2020. He's in his mid-30s. And like I said, veteran presence, same thing with, King Felix, but really just a yawn in the bullpen. And you look at Washington's bullpen, they still have an amazing one. Steven Strasburg, Anibal Sanchez, Patrick Corbin, of course, Sean Doolittle closing things out on that end. And if you just look, the roster is still loaded with just as much firepower as it was last season. They still got Howie Kendrick. They still got Juan Soto. They still got Kurt Suzuki. They still have the bats to light it up. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's simple. Washington's going to take the pennant here. Joe, do you think anybody else could take the NL East, or is it the World Series champs to take for sure?
Well, I mean, I don't want to
be afraid now, bro.
I don't want to downplay. I don't want to downplay Washington, and that's the thing. Like you hit on it. Like they're a good team, and you got to give them credit for being the World Series champion.
Got to, especially the way they started, dude. They started as one of the worst teams in baseball and overcame every single series. They were down in every series.
And if it was 60-game season last year, like it is this year, we've all said it, they wouldn't have made the playoffs. They would have been sitting out of it. That's how hot they got. They got hot towards the end of the year.
Yeah, they did.
And that's basically what it is. That's what it comes down to, is who's going to get hot at what time.
Right. Who's going to get hot at the right time too.
And I think they just had a couple things go their way. And like you said, I give them the credit. I like the talent there. But I personally don't have them winning the division. I have the Braves winning it.
Okay.
Just because I like the Braves won me over with that young talent.
Arguably the best young talent in the league right now compared to like maybe the White Sox too, honestly.
And I could be a year early on the Braves, but I just like the talent there. And like you said, Cole Hamels, he's not the same one, and I don't even think he's going to start the season. I think I just read somewhere that he is hurt again or sick. I don't know. Something wrong with him right now.
Yeah. I remember he was having some issues like right when we picked him up. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. I saw a glimpse of it. So I know something's wrong with him. But another team that in that division that could make a run for it is the Phillies, and I'm starting to
man,
a little bit more towards them.
Yeah.
I try, that's the one team that I try not to jump on, and like I don't know what it is. I'm always like something about the Phillies. I never want to root for them.
But they were that team a few years ago too, dude. The Phillies were the best team, arguably, in the National League. I mean, they always won the NL East, a couple years ago. I wouldn't even say a couple years ago, more of like 6 to 8 years ago. That's really when the Phillies were in their prime. But I do feel you on them possibly still in the division too. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I mean, they have like, that whole division is really good. Like, I mean, even the Marlins, you can't discount them, but I mean, they're not going to make a run this year.
Right.
But with the Phillies, they have the pitching. They have Joe Girardi now as the manager.
Right. I forgot about that.
That is going to be
for them.
I think what a lot of people are kind of underestimating, I guess, would be this season is the addition of the DH in the National League.
Yeah, I actually went over that in my last episode.
Yeah, and having Joe Girardi, who's been a manager in the American League, could be very beneficial over there. I like Realmuto. I like Jay Bruce is going to be the DH more than likely.
Jay Bruce is a monster. I love Jay Bruce as a hitter. I think he's a very fluid batter. I love his form too.
See, and I think it's perfect. Like when I heard the DH, and I was like, I did a thing where I went through and I looked at the DHs of like the NL teams. And when I saw Jay Bruce, I was like, how perfect is it for him to DH this year? If you want to say Nationals, I'm good with Nationals, but I think we have to look at the Braves and the Phillies as pretty good ball clubs as well.
Winning the NL West, I think anybody can say this is the easiest division to grab a hold of and call the winner of the pennant. It's going to be the Dodgers. They've made it look easy, winning the last 7 straight divisions. And I think chasing number 8 is going to be a piece of cake after adding Mookie Betts. And if you really just look at that division, they don't have a close threat to them. Last year, they won the division, and the Diamondbacks were second in that division, and they were 21 games back. So I think this is a very safe pick to say the Dodgers are going to win the West. How about you, Joe? Who do you have winning the NL West?
Well, that's my team right there, the Dodgers.
Okay.
That's
I'm speaking to your heart now, aren't I?
oh yeah. That's the team I grew up rooting for, and
Oh, yeah. I hate that David Price has to miss the season because I was really looking forward to seeing him. He's one of my favorite pitchers right now. I really
yeah,
like David Price.
and he's done. You know, it's weird. He's done so much for the Dodger community, and he hasn't even played a game for him, and that's what's crazy. Like he
Right.
paid he paid what, the minor leagues salary.
I cannot believe that that slipped my mind. Yes, he did do that. Wow.
So that it's unbelievable the stuff the impact he's making in the Dodger community,
Hmm.
without even being a part of the team. But I don't know if you do this. I don't know if the Braves are doing this. I know a lot of other teams are doing this, and and since the Dodgers are my team, I get to watch the split squad inter squad team. They
Hmm.
broadcast it on TV. So I've
Right.
been watching a lot of the Dodgers on TV right now. They're just playing against each other, but man, they're already looking in form. Their depth is unbelievable. Like,
When they added Mookie Betts.
it's not even a name that people need to watch out for is Edwin Rios.
Hmm.
He's having what are they calling this, summer camp? They're calling it summer camp.
Hmm.
He's
Spring
already hit
training.
like he's already hit like 3 home runs. He
Oh,
hit one
wow.
off Kershaw the other day. It
Yeah.
was like rockets, and like uh, I I mean I'm kind of biased when it comes to the Dodgers just because of. But I mean, you said it earlier. You look at the Dodgers' depth, and
They could
they
be.
should blow this division. They should blow the division away.
They should. They should win this division by a landslide. Like I said, I think this is the easiest division to pick from in Major League Baseball right now. So I think me and Joe 100% agree. Dodgers taking the NL West. Now, here's where it gets kind of crazy, just a little bit, but I'm totally willing to stick by it and back it up all the way through the end of the predictions, and y'all will see why. The NL Central, I'm going to take the Cincinnati Reds. Signing Mike Moustakas and Nick Castellanos just ramped up that batting lineup, in my opinion. Two huge hitters right there. Moustakas has an amazing arm for wherever he's playing on the field, but when he steps into that batter's box, he really makes an impact. And you even look further, they have loads of potential residing in Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, and Derek Dietrich as well. And if you even look into the stats a little more, their ballpark is very notorious for turning pop flies into home runs. And I think with the batting power that they have, I'm not saying the ballpark specifically is going to propel them to get to the winning of this division, but it will play a part in it. I feel like the Reds just going out and signing those two big batters and still being a decent team that they were last year, I feel like they have a chance within 60 games to get hot at the right time in the Central to push forward and win that pennant. How do you feel about that, Joe? What do you think about the NL Central?
Well, I've been pushing the Cincinnati Reds all off season,
They had a
and
crazy
I
one.
think
They had a really good one.
the like you said, hitting, they all might not hit for average, but they all can hit a home run. I'll tell you that.
Right.
And like you said, their ballpark's set up for that. Do I have them winning the division? I hope so. I really do. I love because I consider them an underdog, so I like that kind of story.
Yeah. 100% an
Um,
underdog mentality.
and I have been pushing, like I said, I have been pushing the Cincinnati Reds, and I've said a 60-game season is set up for a team like the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of everything they have, but I kind of like the St. Louis Cardinals, and I don't like discounting them.
Mm-hmm.
Because of their talent over there.
It
When
was
they
hard to
have
pick with them,
Goldschmidt,
too.
DeJong, and Colton Wong, all those guys over there. They put I don't know. St. Louis always finds like a new player every year that steps up for him, and
Yeah.
that's a good thing. But yeah, Cincinnati, man, I don't want to argue with that. I want to go with you because I know I said in my predictions I have St. Louis winning that division,
Right.
but see, I like I said, I have to back you because Cincinnati is like, just like you said, look at their roster and it's loaded. I think this division, yeah, like you said, it's going to be the toughest one. But I think I can't go against my own prediction, so I'm gonna have to stay with the Cardinals. But I really like your pick with the Cincinnati Reds.
I have the second wild card spot going to the Cardinals. Now, they took a hit in the roster this year. Marcell Ozuna's gone. But Adam Wainwright is still there along with Jack Flaherty. You still got Matt Carpenter, Paul Goldschmidt, Dexter Fowler. They're all still there, and they're as effective as anybody in a lineup. And, you look at the Cardinals last year, how they really gave the Braves problems in the postseason. I mean, with the Braves blowing the game 1 lead. And, the Cardinals and the Braves really had a problem going back and forth with, really putting their foot on the throat of the team to close the game out. But the Cardinals have a lot of good firepower, and I still think they're going to definitely be able to make a push. I don't want to get off the Reds, and that's why I had them in the second wild card spot. Would you feel like you would put the Reds in the wild card spot there instead of the Cardinals?
In my prediction, I have the Cardinals winning and the Reds in the wild card spot. Yeah.
There we go. All right. See, look,
Well,
we're on the same page. We're just flopping a little bit. It's all good.
yeah. The only I think the only difference we had was the Nationals. I didn't have the Nationals even making the playoffs, but like I said, you can't go wrong with that division. So I had the Reds and the Phillies as my 2 wild card teams.
Okay. And see, look at that, man. It's like we're like right on line, and I love the split of differences here because the first wild card spot I had was going to go to the Bravos, the Atlanta Braves. Great team, with plenty of young talent on the roster. You cannot deny the young talent on the Braves roster between Albies, Swanson, Austin Riley. I really hope he comes back from the injury, and just so many young players with the Atlanta Braves. But their bullpen, I've seen it so many times as a fan, their bullpen solely will make them not win the division. They're doing the right things in terms of offense and even defense, but when it comes to addressing the bullpen specifically and just the pitching staff, I feel like the Braves always fall short. They could even go 90%, but they just never follow through 100% with securing. I mean, it starts and stops with the man on the mound. I've said that every time I talk about the Braves. I've said that every time I talk about baseball. If you look at the teams we're about to mention that are going to get deep into the playoffs, they're going to have a bullpen. I mean, the Nationals, that's why I have the Nationals doing what they do, this coming year in my prediction because of that bullpen, same with the Dodgers. And you even look at the Yankees. Those 3 teams could arguably be the top 3 teams in the league right now, and it's because they have the top 3 bullpens in the league right now. American League division winners. Going to start with the East again. I've got the Yankees, plain and simple. They're the best team in this division. Arguably, they're the best team in – some people could say they're the best team in baseball right now. Some people could say they're the best team in the American League. There's a lot of talk about the Yankees, after signing Garrett Cole to the monster contract that they did. You've got, teammates in Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres, and they just make this easier at the end of the day down the stretch. They are players that can get hot. They're veterans at the end of the day and some amazing hitters in there. And, I don't even mention Giancarlo Stanton as well with the Yankees, the impact that he's going to make. Masahiro Tanaka also. So they're going to have plenty of potential, plenty of playmakers for sure to win the Yankees this division. And in my opinion, nobody else comes close enough to threaten them in this division. Joe, I want to get you to weigh in on that, though. Call me crazy. Let's go.
Well, no, you're not crazy. The Yankees,
no, I'm just testing you, man.
The Yankees are like the Dodgers. They're loaded.
They are very loaded.
And I think the underrated player, and I don't know, a lot of people throw out, Stanton and Judge, and that's like the first Yankee that you think of.
Of course.
Understandable, but I think DJ LeMahieu and Luke Voigt are like the main guys that carry that team. And
DJ LeMahieu fell off the map for a minute because he was a big power hitter back in his prime. I mean, DJ LeMahieu can still swing the bat.
Oh, wasn't he like the AL average? Like, what do they call that? The batting.
Did he lead batting average for the American League?
Yeah, and see, that was the one guy when he was a free agent because he was a Rocky. So when as a Dodger fan, I always got to see DJ LeMahieu, and that was the one guy I was like rooting for the Dodgers to sign. And once he went to the Yankees, I was like, oh man, here we go. Toronto is interesting. Toronto to me is very interesting. It's a very interesting team. Yeah. Young talent of basically everybody on Toronto almost was a son of a former Major League Baseball player or a great Major League Baseball player, right? And then the Tampa Bay Rays. I think that's every year we overlook the Rays.
Mm-hmm. My buddy was actually saying he has the Rays going to the ALCS.
Oh, I wouldn't fight him with that. I see it. I see the Yankees winning, but these are the 2 teams that I could see challenging them a little bit.
Now this one, I'm not going to say it's going to get a little touchy, but people are definitely going to challenge me on it. You might even, Joe, but at the end of the day, I can't deny the team that the roster they have on paper, they still have the talent. And it's going to be a dead giveaway when I say this, but of course, what they did, what they're getting investigated for through the offseason, is really going to weigh on them. But I still have the Houston Astros winning the AL West. And as much as they suck right now, like I said, you still can't deny that they are arguably the best team in this division by far. You look on paper, and I'm not even saying the Astros are going to continue to dominate because karma's definitely hunting them. And you'll hear in my prediction, I have karma finding them precisely when they don't need her to the most. But I think they'll win this division. I do. I know they still have the players. Obviously, they're going to have that dark cloud looming over their head, but I do feel like they could do something as simple as win the division. Now, whether they make a deep run or not, that's a different story, but I want you to weigh in on this one. How do you feel about the AL West?
Well, I'm with you. I'm with you to an extent because I'm a Dodger fan, so I do have some feelings against the Astros.
Of course.
But when I first made my prediction a couple months ago, and that was with pre-COVID-19, pre all that,
Mm-hmm.
and I said the Astros were gonna struggle this year,
Right.
and I was saying that, and I took a lot of heat for it, and the reason I said that is because of the crowd noise that they were gonna have to deal with going into hostile environments. Now they don't have to deal with that. Now,
Right.
that this is the one team. If Corona could help any team, this is the one team it basically helped out. It's going to help them tremendously because you saw them in spring training when they actually had fans there. They were
Right.
getting it left and right, and it kind of looked like it was getting to them. It was starting to get to them towards the end of it, and then Corona shut everything down. But talent alone, they have a pretty solid team, and I mean, Alex Bregman is.
Mm-hmm.
You could put him as one of the top third basemen in the league, and
I want to say you did, didn't you?
I did personally. I did. I have him number 3 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would put him number 1, and it's hard to argue. Like you look at the Astros team and you go, who is your number 1 guy? And I would say Bregman is the number 1 guy on that team. A team of loaded stars. I would say that he carries that team. When he goes, that team goes.
Right.
I mean, you can argue Altuve, but really,
yeah, most people will argue Altuve. That's why I had to clarify there for a second.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jose, I'm down on him because I see him as the face of the scandal, basically.
Oh, he was 100%. He was the face of the scandal.
And then they have Dusty Baker, and Dusty Baker, I don't know. I don't like his history. I don't like Dusty Baker's history. Might not get him to that where they want to go, but he'll get them to the division win. We'll say that. I'll say that. I'll go with you on that.
Moving on into the American League Central, a lot of these divisions were up in the air, but I was looking at this, and I feel like if there is really a team, and I know we've been talking about who can get hot, who's going to get hot at the right time, but that's the thing about this baseball season is it can go so many ways. I mean, when you have teams like the Reds and the Phillies who really haven't been talked about tremendously, now we're coming up in really, possible World Series appearances, championships. I mean, it's almost hectic trying to make these predictions and just looking across the divisions. But when I was looking into the AL Central, I had to go with the Minnesota Twins. I feel like signing Josh Donaldson, arguably Josh Donaldson could be regarded as a top 5 hitter in the league. I know he did a lot for the Atlanta Braves, the bringer of rain, like you were just saying, with Bregman getting going, the Astros fall in line. It was just like that with the Braves. And there were plenty of games alone where Josh Donaldson himself won us the game with his bat. And if it wasn't with his bat, it was in the field, and if not both. So I have to go with the Minnesota Twins. Signing Josh Donaldson, I think, will provide a huge pop in a division that is tight. They got Rich Hill as well, and then bringing back center fielder Byron Buxton, trying to keep him healthy. Also, he'll provide a good just surge in the lineup. And I feel like this will assist in fending off the White Sox. I did have the White Sox coming really close in this division to winning, but I had to go with the Twins. Joe, let me get your input on it, though, man. How do you feel about the AL Central?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm
Let's
right
go.
there. I'm right there. I'm right there with the Twins, and I that lineup, like they're unbelievable last year. Like you said, they added Rich Hill and they added Maeda from the Dodgers. They did. I'm big on their catcher, Garver.
Mm-hmm.
I really like him. I think I watched. I was one player that I watched a little bit more than anybody last year was him. And when he didn't play like every day, but when he was in the lineup, he was putting up good numbers. So I would expect him to play more this year, but
Right.
that team, that like you said, like the division, it's notoriously it always swings both ways. You have the Indians, but they're
Mhm.
on their. I think they've gone downhill.
I think they're rebuilding.
Like you said, the White Sox are very intriguing,
They
and
are. They're a very
Yasmani
good young
Grandal.
team.
When they got Grandal over there now,
Mhm.
so they have a good team, but like you said, for some reason the Twins just look like they're the most complete team at this time.
JD is
And
really going to provide a spark to that offense. He's going to
yeah,
be their superstar. He's going to be their best player, hands down.
oh yeah, and I took a lot of heat today, or when I posted my baseball thing, my baseball
Mhm.
third baseman, they were like, "Where's Donaldson at? Where's Donaldson?"
Right.
Hey, I'm not discounting him. He's a little older now. He's still a great third baseman. I don't have him in my top 5. I have him right
Right.
outside of it.
Ooh,
But
we might have to talk off air about this, man. No, I'm just kidding. Man,
nah,
I've been roasting everybody with my top fives, but I'm telling you, dude, when you get pushback on your top fives, it keeps wanting to make you put those top fives out because your opinion is hitting people so strongly. Even if they dead serious don't agree with you, like
mhm.
the feedback you'll get, man, love it. Love it. I
Yeah,
was
I
happy to be
already,
that top 5 third baseman.
that's my thing. It's my opinion. What's yours?
We're going to take a look at the first wild card spot for the American League. We just have to go ahead and throw out all the stereotypes for the upcoming baseball season, all the stereotypes for the 162 game seasons we've seen. Baseball has never been through this before, and it's going to be brand new for everybody. And with this first wild card spot, a lot of people, it's going to make a lot of people scratch their heads, but with the first statement, it's going to really ride out the rest of it. Mike Trout will play. Mike Trout is going to play this year. He is going to be hungry as always, and he wants to take advantage of the short season, I believe. You take a look at the Angels, and I want to put a lot of faith in them. Mike Trout has not seen the postseason since 2014. The Angels have not seen the postseason since that year, and it's tough because – of course, you got Albert Pujols. He is obviously just about to retire, feels like anyway. He's been in the game for so long, but he can still hit. The best player in baseball in Mike Trout, in my opinion. If not, he's definitely top 2, nowhere below that. And you take a look at Anthony Rendon. That was a huge pickup for the Angels in the offseason, and I don't feel like one person is necessarily going to propel them upwards, but they could have just been missing that one extra piece of firepower because if you look outside of Mike Trout and when Shohei Ohtani is healthy, I mean, who do you have? In a way you think about it, who is your young surging star? And you even look at Mike Trout, he's not old, but his years are passing him by. Mike Trout's been with the Angels for such a long time, and signing the contract he did obviously possibly dubbed him as the best player in baseball. I think he is. Like I said, no lower than top 2. But I do have the Angels winning this division. I want to put a lot of faith in them this year. And like I said, I just feel like they'll have plenty of chances to take advantage of the shortened season. Joe, I want you to weigh in on this, though. Who do you think takes the first wild card spot in the American League?
See, I've been back and forth on the Angels, and I go
It's
back and
hard.
forth.
It's hard to actually be confident in them.
Yeah, and they do have a very good top out prospect in Joe Adele,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not sure what they want to do with him at this time. I don't even know if they want to play him, but he'll be a great bat. I mean, they have Justin Upton if he can come back and be himself. I'm not sold on Albert Pujols. I think they
Right.
made the mistake of backing out of the Jock Peterson deal. I think that was a very big mistake for the Angels.
Yes, Jock Peterson is a great hitter in baseball right now. He's very underrated, in my opinion. Also, you don't hear a lot of people talking about him.
See, I was very excited. Like when I'm a Dodger fan. I would have hated to lose Jock Peterson, but when I heard he was going to the Angels, I was like, oh, Peterson and Mike Trout
Rendon
together,
and Mike Trout.
yeah, that would have been an unbelievable lineup. But the team I have edging out the Angels, and this, like I said, I like the Angels, but I think we're probably a year too early on them on the Joe Madden era, I guess, so down there.
Right.
And I think because the Angels, I just can't win me over with the pitching. I like Andrew Heaney, I like them, but I can't give it to them. I can't just say it's them. The team I have them, and I'm going with another small market team would be the Oakland Athletics.
Yes. A lot
That's
of
the
people are
team
talking
that,
about the A's this year too. Some people think the A's could win it all this year.
you know what, I was asked in a we did like a collaboration with a couple podcasts, and they asked me my World Series prediction, and and who to win. And I said the Oakland A's. That would be my team to win it all. Just because it's the 60-game season. I wanted to go with the small market team that could get hot. But
the A's were good about 5 years ago too.
Well, they're that team that's they don't have the high price talent, but they have talent, and they're always hanging around. They have Matt Olson as the first base who could, a lot of people forget about how good he is over there. Matt Chapman, I have him as my number 2 third baseman in the whole league. They have the big, their big hitter is Chris Davis. He can knock it out of the ballpark with everybody else.
Wild card spot number 2 for the American League. I'm going to give it to the young White Sox team I've been talking about through the episode. They arguably have, I'm not going to say some of the best young talent, but they have a lot of potential in their young talent. And you can almost kind of look at them as the Braves in a way, with the amount of young players and the talent that is possibly able to surge around that team and propel them to a potential World Series championship. But I have to give it to this young White Sox team. I think they're primed for a breakout, and they're primed for a breakout in a division that is as up for grabs as any in baseball right now. And you look at the names in Tim Anderson, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, and a big one here, Jose Abreu. I feel like he's fallen off the map, but I remember Jose Abreu being a force in baseball in the past years. And you just look at all those guys that can provide power at the plate. The bullpen, of course, every bullpen can still use some work, but I just feel like the White Sox really will be able to just turn on the burners this year. And I feel like there'll be more than enough run support to go around this season for the White Sox. Joe, I want to get your opinion on it, though.
No doubt about the White Sox. I'll tell you that.
Wild card round now. Let's start with the National League's Cardinals at the Braves. And I think with how Game 5 ended last year, with the Braves in the playoffs, obviously the 10 runs in the first inning, Fultonevich getting absolutely embarrassed. I don't even want to see him in Atlanta anymore, but I'm just being really biased. Really tough on him right now. Overall, I just feel like they have the better roster, the better bats, the slightly better bullpen because if Mike Soroka and Max Fried can find their legs early on in the season. And, who knows? Joe on my last show, Joe from Clowntown Talk Show, he was saying that he possibly had Cole Hamels as being a breakout pitcher in the National League. And I couldn't doubt him on that. I had Max Fried as the breakout pitcher, but if the Braves can get the young talent to really work in their favor, like it should have been these past few years, and you just even look here, Atlanta, they're going to be at home. They're going to be able to buckle down, and they're just going to be able to show the fans what should have happened last year in that Game 5. And I know our predictions are a little different, but now that we're in the wild card round, Joe, do you feel like the Braves could push past the Cardinals?
The Braves have it. I think they've learned a lot from last year, and I think that they're going to mature a little bit.
They better have learned a lot from last year, man.
Oh yeah, and you know what? Even I think adding the DL is going to help them because, like you said earlier about Austin Riley, he almost wasn't going to make the team this year, and he was probably going to start the league, the season in the minor leagues because they didn't have really a spot for him. But now they have the DH. I have the Braves beating the Cardinals. I'll say that.
The American League now for the wild card matchup. We got the White Sox playing the Angels. Angels being at home here. I think this is going to be the best wild card game of the season. The Angels will be in the postseason for the first time since 2014, so the players are going to be coming to play hard. It's going to be with the shortened season, with Mike Trout committing to play. Yes, Mike Trout is playing baseball this season. I firmly believe it. Mike Trout will get to embrace his power for the postseason. And you've got Anthony Rendon, who is a very clutch hitter. He did a lot for the Nationals last year, coming in clutch as well, adding that pop to the lineup. And they'll be at home. And like I mentioned, this young White Sox team who is going to play hard right here, I do feel like they fall short late in the game. A possible rookie mistake, non-veteran mistake on their behalf. And I think the Angels push forward. Joe, how do you feel about that?
If I had to pick between those two right now, I'd take the White Sox.